I always thought being fit was a shield against heart problems. I ran 5 miles every morning, lifted weights religiously, and never missed my weekly yoga session. My diet was strict. I avoided sugar, fried food, and anything processed. Friends would joke, "You're invincible, nothing can touch you." I believed it too, until the day everything changed. It started with a dull ache in my chest during a routine jog. I shrugged it off, telling myself it was just fatigue. Later, at work, I felt a strange pressure in my chest, accompanied by a shortness of breath. Panic hadn't set in yet. I had convinced myself fit people dan. Get heart attacks, but a tiny voice whispered that something wasn't right. I ignored it for days, thinking stress was the culprit. I was juggling work, relationships, and a demanding training schedule. But then one evening, after a light cardio session, the ache became sharp, and my vision blurred. I collapsed at home. The paramedics said it was a heart attack. My mind refused to accept it. How could this happen to me, someone who lived healthy? In the hospital, the doctors explained something that shook me to the core. Fitness alone doesn't guarantee heart health. Hidden factors like genetics, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and even silent inflammation can silently damage your heart. I learned that my family history had a shadow. I ignored both my father and grandfather had heart conditions. And despite my active lifestyle, plaque had built up in my arteries over the years without any warning signs. I realized that society glorifies fitness as a cure-all. We see toned bodies, Instagram workouts, and assume physical strength equals a healthy heart. But heart health is more complex. It's not just about sweating in the gym or eating kale salads. Sometimes you're fit on the outside while your heart is quietly under siege. Recovering from the heart attack was terrifying and humbling. I had to slow down, check my blood pressure, monitor cholesterol, and rethink my lifestyle. I learned to listen to my body in ways I never had before. Fit or not, everyone is at risk if underlying issues go unnoticed. This experience changed me. I no longer equate visible fitness with invincibility. I started sharing my story with friends, family, and even strangers at the gym, warning them not to ignore subtle signs and to get regular checkups, regardless of their lifestyle. Fitness is valuable, but awareness, prevention, and medical guidance are equally critical. Now, every time I lace up my running shoes, I do it with a sense of respect, not overconfidence. My heart is stronger not just because of exercise, but because I learned to care for it completely, and to never assume that a fit body guarantees a healthy heart. After the heart attack, I faced a harsh truth. I had been living under a dangerous illusion. I had assumed that fitness alone could cancel out decades of genetics, stress, and subtle lifestyle risks. It was a humbling realization that hit me harder than any treadmill ever could. The recovery process wasn't just physical, it was mental. I had to confront my own denial. Every morning, as I sat with my heart monitor strapped across my chest, I was reminded that no amount of running or lifting could undo what had been silently building inside me. Simple daily routines became lessons in patience, learning to cook heart-healthy meals, meditating to manage stress, and actually scheduling checkups I had once ignored. Doctors explained that many people, especially those who are fit, often overlook warning signs. They push through fatigue, dismiss chest discomfort, or think irregular heart rhythms are just part of a tough workout. But the reality is that heart disease doesn't discriminate. Plaque doesn't care how many push-ups you do, and arterial inflammation doesn't check your BMI. I began noticing subtle differences in my life post-recovery. A casual walk no longer felt trivial. It felt like reclaiming my life. I connected more with friends and family, sharing my journey and urging them not to make the same mistake I did. I realized my story wasn't just about MIT, it was a cautionary tale. I started advocating for a balanced approach to health. Fitness is crucial, but so is awareness, regular medical checkups, understanding your family history, managing stress, and maintaining proper nutrition beyond the Instagram-approved diet. I learned that health isn't about appearance or performance, it's about longevity and resilience, about nurturing the organ that literally keeps you alive, your heart. Months later, I returned to the gym not as an invincible athlete, but as someone wiser. Each lift, each run, each stretch was done with a new consciousness, a recognition that my heart is not a machine that can endure endless punishment. I share my story openly now, because I know how easy it is to ignore invisible threats. And while I still run, lift, and train, I do it with gratitude. Every heartbeat feels like a gift, every breath a reminder that fitness is only part of the equation. True heart health is a blend of awareness, prevention, and lifestyle, and even the fittest among us must respect it. Because at the end of the day, the heart doesn't light, only responds to how well we care for it. And sometimes, the strongest, healthiest looking person in the room is the one most at risk if they forget that. I wish I could say the fear disappeared with time, but it didn't. It changed shape. It became quieter, more patient, like a shadow that followed me into every decision I made. When I felt tired, I no longer pushed through it. When my chest felt tight, I stopped everything. I learned that strength isn't ignoring needs, respecting it before it becomes permanent. What shocked me most was how many people reached out after hearing my story. Athletes, gym trainers, marathon runners, people who looked healthier than I ever had. They told me about unexplained fatigue, sudden dizziness, strange chest sensations they'd brushed off. Many of them said the same thing I once believed: I'm fit, it can't be my heart. That belief is dangerous. I learned that intense training without enough recovery can strain the heart. Chronic stress raises blood pressure even in lean bodies. Poor sleep silently damages cardiovascular health. Some people carry genetic risks they can't outrun, no matter how disciplined they are. Fitness can hide problems, delay symptoms, and create a false sense of safety. The scariest part is that heart attacks in fit people often come without dramatic warning. No collapsing in the gym. No movie-style clutching of the chest. Sometimes it's just discomfort, tightness, fatigue that feels slightly off. And because we're healthy, we ignore it. I used to measure success in reps, miles, and mirrors. Now I measure it in calm mornings, steady heartbeats, and checkup results. I still train, but my goal has changed. I don't chase exhaustion anymore. I chase balance. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: fitness is a tool, not a guarantee. A strong body can still carry a vulnerable heart. And the most important workout you'll ever do is listening. Really listening to what your body is trying to tell you. Because a heart attack doesn't always come for the weak. Sometimes it comes for the confident.